We're doing non-calculator still. We've got 2 more to do on the non-calculator for level 1. I've opened up the online version here. As you can see, it's given us a rundown and told us that non-calc 30 minutes, 1 activity, 15 marks, and it rolls straight into the calculator section, which is an hour and a half. It's 3 activities and it's 45 marks. I've got my scribble pad, so you'd have your pad of paper ready for the exam, a blank piece of paper, and make sure if it's a pen, take a spare one just in case the ink runs out. Nothing worse than having to do scribbles and your pen runs out. So have a spare, or have a pencil and a pen, or a pencil sharpener and a pencil, just so you know you're not going to run out and the equipment's not going to fail you. Likewise with a calculator, make sure it works. It might have been in your kid's bag for like 2 years, but make sure it works when it's your exam. Obviously, non-calculator, we can't use that, but I mean for the calc. Okay, let's have a look where we're at. Let's have a look next. It's telling us there, no calculator. Yes, we know. It automatically moves on after 30 minutes. We know. It's a case of this section is non-calc, and you'll do a kind of a scan. It'll do a scan of your room with the camera that's looking at you, and that my phone will be placed sort of here looking this way, so it knows I can't do anything untoward. And I'll have my ID and I'll show my driver's license. That's me. Yeah, okay, I'm good to go. Right, ironing. So this whole 5-6 questions is going to be on ironing. I've said to you a few times, if you're thinking, oh, I always run out of time and I'm going to run out of time, have a quick look about how many points each question's worth. So we've got a 1-pointer, a 3-pointer, a 2-pointer, a 3-pointer, a 1-pointer, and a 5-pointer. So if you know you're struggling for time, you can always attempt this one first. That's a 5-pointer. Then you know that you could then do this one first or this one. So you don't have to do them in the order it says here. But if you have done one further down and you've missed one out, make sure you've got yourself time to go back and check it. I'm going to do them in order. Again, it's practicing to fit those 6 questions, those 5 questions in that 30 minutes, because running out of time when you knew how to work out the answer is really, really frustrating for yourselves. Right, so Jazz runs an ironing business from home. She charges £1.65 to iron 1 shirt. £1.65 for 1. Okay, a customer asks Jazz to iron 10 shirts. So as you can see here, we've gone up by 10. So likewise, we need to go up by 10. The times the number, that says 16, doesn't. The times the number by 10, we move the decimal place 1 place to the right. So £1.65, 165. Place the decimal point there, becomes £16.50. It's worth 1 mark. So in here, I am simply saying 1.65 times by 10 equals £16.50. I'm not writing anything else in my working out box because it's a 1-point question. I'm just showing them the sum I've done, and I'm clicking next. Scroll down a little bit. So 3 points, a bit more involved. Jazz charges £2.90 to iron a cotton sheet. Okay, so we're going to put it in here again, £2.90. I'm just going to put CS, cotton sheet. She charges an extra 25p per item if she uses starch. A customer asked Jazz to iron 42 cotton sheets using starch. How much will she charge a customer? We could do it one of 2 ways. We could do £2.90 times by 42 and then 0.25 times by 42 and add them both together. But that's not too complicated, but it's 2 sums and then a third one to add them together. Why don't we work out, my advice would be work out what 1 unit is going to cost. It's going to cost you £2.90 to iron it and then 25p for the starch. So we've got 5, add 9, that's 1 and 1. So that's £3.15 per unit, per sheet. Okay, and we're doing 42 of them. Okay, so now we know our full sum when it gets to the end. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 2 is 2. Add our spare one is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. We times it by 10, so we put a 0 in there. 5 times 4 is 20. 1 times 4 is 4. Add our spare is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, so we've now got the sum, and we're going to finish off the multiplication by adding up the two columns, the two rows, sorry. 6 add 6 is 12. 2 add, oh my gosh, my brain's gone funny. 2 add 1 is 3, and then 1 add 0 is 7. So we've now got a price for the sheets of £132.30p. That's obviously my answer I put in my box, 132.30. What would I put in my working out box to get my 3 marks? I'd show them that I know how much per unit each sheet is going to cost to iron. 1 mark. I'm going to then show them that I've done my number, the cost per unit multiplied by the number of units I need, 42, and I'm going to put the total in there, 132.30, and then I'll copy and paste my total into there. There's nothing else you can do. There's no other additional working out. It's hard to show this sort of column and row working out in the electric boxes, so save that for your pad of paper. They've watched you on the camera work it out, so it's not like you've just done that bit in your head and made that part up. So it's quite obvious you've done some workings out extra on your paper. So just show them what you've done. Jazz works out how much to charge a customer. She needs to check her answer to this calculation. Round each value to the nearest whole number. Use your rounding values to estimate the answer to 4 times, in a bracket, 67.95, add 36.68. You must show all your working. 2 marks. So we need to show where we've run these numbers up to. For starters, we've got around each value. Oh, I'm writing with my electric pen on my pad of paper. No, it's not working. We've got 4 times, in a bracket, 67.95, nearest whole number. That's almost 68 because that's over 0.5. As soon as it's 67.5, like in normal rounding up, if it's 5 or above, we go up. If it's 49 in this case or below, we stay at 67. So that becomes 68, and then we add 36.68. Likewise, that's above 50, so we're now going to 37. We've got inside our bracket now 68, add 37. So we've got 15, and then we've got 10. So we've got 105. So we've got 105 times by 4. 5 times 4 is 20. 0 times 4 is 0, but we've got a spare. 1 times 4 is 4. So the answer to that question, she's estimating a price for this customer, and it's going to be, I've lost my mouse, it's going to be £4. It just says work it out. It doesn't say in pounds or pence, so let's just use what it says. It says round it up and estimate it. So we've estimated it. In my workings out, I will be saying 67.95 is 68. 36.68 is 37. So I'm going to go 68 add 37 equals 105. 105 times by 4 equals 320 for 2 marks. Probably a little bit overkill with the workings out, but we've estimated both numbers, we've rounded them up, and then we've done the adding part, and then we've done the multiplication part. But it's shown every step of the way that we've done, so I will be happy with that. Okay, question 4, slipping down there. A skirt must be ironed at 140 Celsius. By mistake, Jazz set her iron to 140 Fahrenheit. She has this rule to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Celsius multiplied by 1.8, add 32 equals the Fahrenheit. By how many degrees Fahrenheit should Jazz turn up her iron? So a more difficult question. It's stepped up. We're not just doing normal multiplications here. We've got a number that has a decimal place in here we need to work with. It's saying here, so we've got 140 multiplied by 1.8, add 32 equals the degrees Fahrenheit. So we've got 140 because that's what the temperature it must be ironed at. So we know it has to be ironed at 140. What is it going to be at the other end when it comes to the Fahrenheit temperature? So 140 times 1.8. 140 times by, I'm only putting 18 in there purely because I'm getting rid of my decimal point, but I'll put it back in when I finish. So I've just literally times that number by 10. And so it becomes 18. So times by 10 equals 1 decimal place to the right. And I'll put it back in when I finish. I just find it easier sometimes. It wouldn't make any difference to the answer if I kept 1.8 in there. I'd still use the second column and still add them both up, but I just prefer no decimal places in my way. 0.0 times 8 is 0. 4 times 8 is 32. If you're unsure about any times tables, that's where you use your pad. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. We can use, go as far as you want on there. But 4 times 8 is the highest one we've got here. 4 times 8 was 32. 1 times 8 is 8. Add our spare 3 becomes 11. I'm just checking out my brain. Then we got times by 10 for the 0. 0 times 1 is 0. 4 times 1 is 4. And then 1 times 1 is 1. Add them both up. 2 add 0 is 2. 1 add 4 is 5. And 1 add 1 is 2. Okay, so we've now got 2, 5, 2, 0. And then the decimal place would come in here. Don't forget we added in a decimal. We times it by 10. So we must divide by 10. And so that number becomes 252.0. Makes no difference. You don't need to put the 0 in, but it just becomes 252. So we know that the Fahrenheit equivalent of 140 Celsius is 252 Fahrenheit. She's got her iron turned on to 140. So by how many degrees should she turn her iron up? We take away what she's got it on now by what it should be. That gives us the difference. So 2 take away, 2 take away 0. It remains at 2. 5 take away 4 is 1. 2 take away 1 is also 1. So she needs to increase the temperature on her iron by 112 degrees Fahrenheit. 1, 1, 2. If she does it at Celsius, she's going to burn a big hole in her skirt. Okay, what workings out would I do for 3 marks here? I would 100% show them what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 140 times by 1.8. I'm going to add. So I'd write in letters what they've done in words on that little formula forward arrow box. Then I'm going to write 140, break it down, times by 1.8, and we know that was, I didn't have my 32. So it's not that. Look, that's why it's good to talk through the question. So 140 times 1.8 definitely is 252, 100%, because we worked that out. But her answer then, we didn't add, so then it becomes 252, add our 32, which makes it 284. And then, okay, so let's go back over here. Add 32 equals 284. Take away 140. Okay, so it's not that one. Let's put a line through. 4 take away 0 is 4. 8 take away 4 is 4. 2 take away 1. So we're actually taking it up. Okay, let's put equals in there. Equals. And then we're going to put 284. So that's my error for not reading the question. I sometimes have this rush to get to the next question. I need to do it. So I didn't read the question correctly. And had I carried on, that would have left me with a mistake that is just an error by not reading, not a mathematical mistake. I've still worked out things correctly. I just didn't go back and check, but I've gone back and checked. I've seen I've done it wrong. I've still got some time left, and I've made amends to my error. I've added on the 32 here, and then I've taken away the real total 282, and I've taken away 140. So I know my iron needs to be turned up by 144. And mistakes can happen. Again, you might notice it with a minute to spare, and if you can change it in that minute, do so. If you haven't been able to change it, I would have still got a mark for understanding probably 140 times 1.8. I didn't have my 32. I might have got no marks, but then I've shown I can take things away and find out a sum. I might have got 1 mark for kind of using the right process, but I didn't do that formula properly. Okay, this picture is of an ironing board. What type of angle is angle A? Okay, so we know, right, so if I draw, let's start with the bottom one, a right angle. It's not going to be very good. That's the right angle. It's a square angle. Right angle is kind of what we see on the edge of a table, on the floor to our walls. So a right angle is square. A reflex angle, can I do a reflex angle? I think I can. It's bigger than flat. So a flat line is 180. 90 is a right angle. A reflex angle goes beyond that 180. So it's almost like if you think about your elbow, I can't really do it, can I? Elbow. So it's that angle. Oh, I'm blurred as well. So it's that angle on the bottom of my elbow. It's beyond horizontal. So that's a reflex. Okay, let's go in here, reflex. And you put flex and reflex. If we think about the last two, we've got obtuse and acute. Okay, so we go from here to here. So anything bigger than a right angle up to a flat line. So it could be like that. Yeah, anything bigger than this one, but smaller than that one, that's an obtuse. And then anything smaller, so anything from there to literally a straight line, because that's no angle, is it? That's literally, we can't do it. So if we've got an angle, say, like that, oh my gosh, it's making me draw two, like that. Okay, it's not quite that one. That's acute. I always remember it. The small one is cute. It's little, it's cuddly, it's small. So acute angle, acute, yeah. It's a cute angle. It's a little one, so it's little and cute. It's a cute angle. It's smaller than right angle. It's smaller than a square. If it's bigger than a square but not a flat line, it becomes obtuse. If it's bigger than a flat line, it becomes reflex. And the right angle is its own special one, isn't it? It's just like literally the straight line, the square. Okay, let's move on. Next question. We're going to finish off with a 5-pointer. So this one's a beefy one to finish off with. Likewise, like I said, if you think you might run out of time, then sometimes tackling the largest question first and you're confident about it, just 5 points in the bag. We've got 12 minutes. We've got 5 marks, roughly 2 minutes per mark. So we've left ourselves enough time, or we should have. Jazz needs to buy some starch spray. She sees these offers. Dr. Clean, 3 times 400 milliliter cans is £5. Starch It, 300 milliliter cans, £1.50 each, and we get 20% off our total. She needs to buy 2.5 litres of starch spray. How much cheaper is 2.5 litres of Starch It compared to Dr. Clean? So it's already told us that this one is cheaper. We just need to work out by how much. And that's really important because on a level 2 question, it will say, compare the two, which is cheaper and by how much. So he's given us a little bit here. It's told us that this one is cheaper. So if we did our workings out and this one's more expensive, we can look back and think, have I made a little error somewhere? First things first, if we say 1 litre equals 1,000 millilitres. Okay, so that's, I'm going to write milliliters, I don't know why. 1 litre equals 1,000 millilitres. They need 2.4 litres. So it's going to be 2,400 millilitres. It's important that we do that conversion now because these are both in millilitres. 3 times 4 milliliters, 3 times 400. Okay, 400 add 400 is 800, add another one is 1200. So we know that 1200 millilitres is £5. If we look at that number and that number, 12 and 24, we can see it's doubled. So if we add another 1200 on there and another £5 on there, we can see now we've got what we need is 2,400 millilitres, and the total price would be £10. We've added those up. So we know Dr. Clean, when we're buying Dr. Clean for 2.4 litres, 2,400 millilitres, it's going to cost us £10. Okay, so let's have a look at starch. 300 millilitre cans, £1.50 each. If we're looking at the relationship between 2,400, which we need, and 300, okay, my advice would be, let's not worry about the huge zeros on the end. What's the relationship between 3 and 24? If we work out on our 3 times table, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, we can clearly see that there's a direct relationship between 3 and 24. If we times 3 by 8, we get 24. So it's saying we need, if we have 8 lots of 300, we're going to get 2,400. So we need 8 lots of £1.50. So £1.50 times by 8. 0 times 8 is 0. 5 times 8, again, if you're not sure about your 8s, stick them down. There's no harm. We're not wasting huge amounts of time to do 5 times 8. We've got there now, look, 40. So, and we didn't have anything to carry over, so we've got 0 there, got 1 there. 1 times 8 is 8, and our spares is 12. So we know that without the discount, and I'm going to keep scrolling down because we'll remember that one is 10 up there. Without our discount, it's £12. We get 20% off. If we're not sure how to work out 20%, and that's kind of like, ooh, what do? I divide by 5. Yeah, but how do I divide by 5? Don't worry about dividing by 5. Find out what 10% is first. 10% of any number is divided by 10. And we've already shown right at the very start what we do when we times by 10. We move the decimal place once to the right. So when we divide by 10, we move the decimal place to the left once. Okay, so 10% of £12, we go like that. It's here. We're just going to move, pick up there, put it here. So it becomes £1.20 is 10%. If we think about what makes 20, another 10%. Yeah, £1.20. Okay, so if we add those two up, £2.40, add those two up, 20%. So we've got our 20% now by just finding 10%. We've not worried about the number 20. We've done 10 and 10. Exactly the same. And now we've got to look at the £12, taking away £2.40. If we're not doing that in our head, that's okay. If we're doing it in our head, you can, all right, yeah, 12 take away £2 is £10. £10 take away 40p will give us £9.60. If we need to do the full subtraction, absolutely do so. 0 take away 0. 0 take away 4 we can't do, so let's borrow 1. Okay. 10 take away 4 is 6. 11 take away 2 is 9. So it's the same thing, but sometimes you recognize number bonds better when we're talking about money than we do when we're talking about, say, for example, numbers of trees or millilitres. Or so sometimes money is easier to look at. So we got £9.60 with the discount. We said the other one was £10. So take away £9.60. Again, using your number bond in your head, what can we add on to £9.60 to get to £10? And it's 40p. So the final answer is 40 pence. So we're going to put the answer in here. How much cheaper? So we know it's 40p. Okay, that's how much cheaper it is, but that's only going to get us 1 mark. We now need to show them that we've done first of all, we've done the 400 times by 3 equals 2,400. Okay, and then we've done the equals 1,200. 1,200, and then we've done times by 2 equals 2,400. Okay, so we now know we need, let's go in here, 5 times, what have we done times? No, 5 times 2 equals 10. 10. Second one was 8, wasn't it? So we needed 12, 300 mils times by 8 equals 2,400. And then we've got £1.50 times by 8 equals £12. 12 take away 20%. Oh, 30%. 12 take away 20% equals £9.60. And we go in here. If you want to write in there what 10% was, so 10% equals £1, £1.20. So 20% equals £2, £2.40. That's absolutely fine. You can do that. And then we're going to put in here £10, 10 take away £10, take away 9.60 equals 0.4, which is 40p. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to click next. That will be end of my exam. So rather than click next, I'm going to have a quick look, see if I put the right answer in the right box. Just to be sure, we've got the number. Yeah, so it asks for a number. That asks for a number. At this stage, I know I've got 4 minutes left, so I'm okay. That asks for a number. That asks for a number. That asks for a box to be ticked. And that asks for a number. Sometimes the reason I'm saying that, sometimes it says, is she right, yes or no? So sometimes if you've written the number in the box and it asks for a yes or no, quickly change your number, put your number in your working out box and put the yes or no in the box. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a look at, I know we've got 4 minutes left on the 30-minute clock. But if I open up the mark scheme while we've still got a bit of time, I'll have a look at my workings out because I think I wrote most of the answers on my workings out to kind of verify what we did. Let's have a quick look. We said £16.50 for 10 shirts. We said £132.30p for the sheets. And again, the breakdown of the workings out was showing us there per unit. So it's £3.15, £3.15 times 42. Alternative method was what they said, what I said we could do at the start, where we do the 0.25 times 42 and the £2.90 times 42. They did that here. Look at the bottom one, add them together, still the same answer. But we got £132.30p. It says there 2 decimal place required. Yes, because it's money. If you just put 132.3, you're probably not going to get a third mark. When you're talking money, you must make sure it's 30p, 20p. Put that added 0 on the end. We're talking money. Question C. C was, what does it say there? C below, what's the answer? 100. Oh, it was the iron. I'm thinking, well, that looks a bit strange. It was the iron, and what do we need? Oh no, C was. Let's look at C. What was C? Sorry, I've kind of 420. Oh, it was the values one where we had to round up. Thinking, what was that? So 420. C. So C below 420. We rounded up to 68. Yes, we did. We rounded up to 37. Yes, we did. So yeah, that was fine. I was just thinking what that was a bit random. So yeah, then we had the thermometer, the iron temperature, 144. Luckily, I went back and spotted my error where I'd not added the 32. And so we've got the right answer there in the end, 144. It's a little cute angle, acute. We said that anything below, anything less than 190 becomes cute or acute. It's the correct terminology, but just think of acute as in, oh, it looks cute. I know it's not, it's maths, so nothing's cute in maths. And then we've got the last one, the big question here. Look, they've done a lot of workings out. There's two methods there to do it. We did it the way where we've got found out what 240 mils cost, 2,400 milliliters cost of each one. And then we took the price weight and it says 40p or 0.4 pounds. So it says here, look, do not award if 0.40p is seen. So if you think about why it's not awarding it there, it's because you've done your answer in pounds and pence. Don't worry about thinking about if it's 40p, happy with 40p. If it's 0.4 of a pound, the P sign doesn't know to go on the end. You don't do both. So that's why it's saying do not award. So you wouldn't have got your final mark if you'd have put the P on the end as well as the pound sign. It's one or the other. And if you only wrote 40p without any working out, you'd have got just one mark. So you'd have missed out on 4 step-by-step marks. Brilliant. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to stop the recording. And that is the second to last non-calc paper done. If you've got any questions on there, or in fact any questions on any of the things on Atom you're seeing, any things on the other papers you're doing, just message me and I'm happy to help. Have a wonderful day and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.